Ever wonder why suffering exists if we are divinely guided? It's a question as old as humanity itself. Diving deep into the annals of human existence and spirituality, we find a profound gift from God, the gift of free will. This liberty to shape our destinies is a double-edged sword. It comes with the weight of responsibility, and its misuse can lead to suffering. The story of Adam and Eve paints a vivid picture of this. Their desire to gain knowledge independent of God led to their downfall, a striking example of the consequences of misused free will. Fast forwarding to the teachings of Apostle Paul, we see a clear depiction of the outcomes of living according to the flesh, rather than the spirit. Discord, jealousy, fits of rage and moral decay are not just spiritual failings, but have tangible impacts on individuals and societies. The misuse of free will, driven by ignorance or selfish desires, often leads to suffering. The Bible doesn't shy away from showing us this. But it's not all doom and gloom. The Bible also gives us a roadmap for a blessed life. It emphasizes the significance of knowledge and obedience to God's ways. "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge," declares God in Hosea 4:6, highlighting the dangers of godly ignorance. In the context of Christian practices such as the Lord's Supper, misunderstanding can lead to dire consequences, as Paul cautions in 1 Corinthians 11:27-30. However, with the right comprehension and approach, these practices can be wellsprings of healing and blessings. For instance, partaking of the blood and body of Jesus through communion brings healing. A powerful illustration of this is found in Isaiah 53:5, where we are reminded that by Jesus' stripes, blood, we are healed. To further underscore the transformative power of faith grounded in knowledge and understanding, let's consider the story of the Syrophoenician woman found in Mark 7:24-30. Her faith in Jesus as the source of healing, the children's bread, Jesus' body, resulted in her child's miraculous deliverance. This narrative is a testament to the transformative power of faith that is rooted in knowledge and understanding in God's ways. The Bible is not merely a historical document or a rule book. It is a guide, a source of wisdom, and a beacon of hope. Knowledge of its teachings combined with faith and obedience can lead to a life marked by blessings, health, and prosperity. Knowledge, understanding, and faith can lead to miraculous outcomes. This is the power of righteous pursuit. So, what happens when we align our lives with God's will? Let's look into the lives of two remarkable biblical figures, Joseph and Moses. These individuals didn't have an easy journey. They faced adversity, hardships, and trials. But their steadfast faith and unwavering adherence to God's guidance led them to prosperity and deliverance. Joseph, sold into slavery by his brothers, found himself in Egypt. Despite the circumstances, Joseph remained faithful, and his alignment with God's will led him to become the second most powerful man in Egypt. His position allowed him to save not only his family, but an entire nation from famine. Moses, on the other hand, was chosen by God to lead the Israelites out of slavery in Egypt. Despite the daunting task, Moses trusted God's plan and guidance, leading his people through the Red Sea and directing them to eventually cross over into the Promised Land. His life is a testament to the power of aligning one's life with God's will. These stories aren't just ancient tales, they hold a principle that remains relevant today. Living in alignment with God's will, seeking His wisdom, and applying it in every aspect of our life can lead to a life of blessing. It's not merely about spiritual fulfillment, it's also about physical and emotional well-being. Choosing to align with God's will can lead to not just spiritual fulfillment but also physical and emotional well-being. This is the power of living in alignment with God's will. So, where does this leave us on the question of free will, divine guidance, and suffering? Let's recap. Humanity has been gifted with free will, a double-edged sword that can lead to prosperity or calamity based on our choices. Often, ignorance and selfish desires lead us down a path of suffering. However, the Bible paints a picture of hope, a path to a blessed life through the pursuit of knowledge and obedience to God's ways. Biblical figures like Joseph and Moses exemplify how aligning with God's will, even in the face of adversity, can lead to deliverance and prosperity. This principle is timeless. Today, a life harmonized with God's teachings holds the promise of not just spiritual fulfillment, but also physical and emotional well-being. By pursuing God and His ways, we can live a life of blessing, health, and prosperity. It's not just about avoiding suffering, but embracing the fullness of life that God offers.
Once in Eden's garden, beneath the tree of life, stood Adam and Eve, at the dawn of strife. Free will in their hands, a choice to make. Led away from God, a path astray they take. In the tapestry of life, we weave our tales. Choices in our hands, where freedom sails. In the wisdom of the word, our hearts find light. Walking in His ways, we shine so bright. Joseph and Moses through deserts and dreams, aligned with God against all streams. In their faith, the nation's destiny swayed. In God's will, their paths were laid. In the tapestry of life, we weave our tales. Choices in our hands where freedom sails. In the wisdom of the word, our hearts find light. Walking in His ways, we shine so bright. Paul spoke to the masses, a flesh and spirit's war, a path of discord and rage if we ignore. Yet in His words, a beacon of hope did gleam. In the Spirit's walk, a redemptive dream. In the tapestry of life, we weave our tales. Choices in our hands, where freedom sails. In the wisdom of the word, our hearts find light. Walking in His ways, we shine so bright.